From trash to an electric bicycle for $250. Let me show you how. A romantic walk around the neighborhood with my wife turned out into this. Of course my wife said let it go, but I'm a man. I gotta have it. Here it is. Not the greatest front tire, but it has a disc brake in the front. It has drums in the back. Front fork seems to need a little bit of a work. It's missing the rear wheel, but I've already ordered it from Amazon. I'm gonna put a link at the bottom of the video. The rear wheel was a $110 kit for a 500 watt. And then the battery was like $160. And for those people that can do math, yes, it's $270, but then you get about 5% back on your sales with my Amazon card. Came out around $250 by the time I was done. The Amazon box just arrived. My dog is super excited. He thinks it's for him, but it's not. It's just a wheel. So, yeah, this dog is like super excited about it, but it's not what he thinks it is. So, it comes with everything, including the tire on it. And here's all the brake levers and everything. It's in here. Everything comes nicely packaged. And here's the first dilemma, and I'm going to put a link at the bottom of the video for a fully assembled bike that you could buy for maybe $500 on Amazon. You might want to check those out because this is going to be a little bit of a task. So because it's a rear wheel, you have to remove the cassette from the old wheel, and you're going to need a tool for that. So you're going to need a special tool for that to remove the cassette. Also, the cassette should fit, as far as the thread goes, here on this piece over here. So this one will have to be screwed in here. Here's a trick though. My tool, even though it fit on the old bike, it doesn't fit on the axle on this bike. What I'll have to do is either take the axle out somehow or drill a bigger hole in my tool. Little things that is good to know before you start this project. With the cassette installed, now we are ready to try to put it on the bike. It has a certain space that it has to be in between these two pieces over here for the fork, for the rear fork. So you gotta kind of like sync up with that. In this case, I think I measured right, so we'll see. Remove the nuts and the spacer on both sides. Remember here you have the wire, so that's very, very important. So when you take the nut out, make sure you protect the wire. It just comes off this way. And this spacer will have to stay on the inside. It depends very much bicycle to bicycle. And we're gonna get it in. Get the cassette over. There it is. So the cassette is going to go over. And then let's see how is this going to fit in here. Once the wheel's in, there is a little lock nut that is specifically designed to fall into that place, and then you have to put the nut on top. And here's the first problem. The shifter for the gear is already scraping on the side of the wheel because it's too fat and is not designed to travel that way. So that will be something that I'll have to also solve. But right now, with the way that it looks, I'm only going to be able to use 3 of the 7 gears that I have in the back, and that's not good. Problem that I have is over here, the last gear is too close, and this gear shifter won't be able to use the biggest sprocket unless I could figure out a way that this one doesn't scrape on the hub of the motor, which is quite extensively hanging out this way. That's something that I'll have to work on, but all the other gears are working, so that's good. At this point, I'm only losing 1. I was able to solve the problem with the gap that I had over here. This little bolt over here on the shifter was a little bit too long. It was as long as the one at the bottom. So I put an angle grinder in there, took about 1/8 of an inch or a couple of millimeters out, enough so it doesn't scrape on the edge of the motor anymore, so all the gears are working. At this point, I do have the rear wheel in. This is not a disc wheel, so even though it has a space special for the disc, it is just a drum wheel, so it just has these little drums that are designed for the brake. The front wheel seems to be fine. The front is disc. It has travel suspension, which I still have to work on. The gears in the front are working just fine. The chain, it's stepping on the rear cassette with no problem whatsoever. None of the electronics are hooked up yet. Because of that, I don't have electric power. I'm just gonna roll it up and down the street just to make sure it works. It's time to connect all the electronics that came with the bicycle. Also, I'm going to switch. Right now the front brake is here. I'm going to switch it on the other side. They also give you 2 special levers for that. The reason they give you the levers is that these have switches inside. Picking up a location for where the electronics goes, it's all up to you. To install the brakes, what you have to do is first you have to take the cable, the old cable out. You have to align this piece with a straight line over here, pull on it, and it will come off. And then you could just slide it out of here. So this will come off. You keep the cable because the cable is going to be used on a new brake lever, but the brake lever needs to be replaced with a new one. To remove the brake lever off, you'll have to slide this piece out first. So this has to come out. Then you're going to have a little Allen wrench over here that's going to allow you to slide the shifter, and then this will slide off the handlebars. And here it is. This comes off, this slides off, and then the brake lever will slide off. And then now you're ready to install the new one. The new brake levers that you get, they're exactly the same. They have exactly the same length. The best way to do it is make sure that you keep the bolt on the outside. So this way they fit better and it's easier to work with them. After that, you could slide your gear shifter and then organize everything on the handlebars. You could also use the original piece that came with it on the handlebars, which was rubber, or they give you a plastic one that you could just slide in. So it's your preference. The plastic one that comes in is a little bit shorter, so that's all up to you. Now that you're ready to install the brakes, remember I said I'm going to flip them around. So I'm going to put the left brake to be the rear and the front is going to be the right. So I flipped the wires around and now I'm ready to run them through. So first I'm going to put the wire through here. There it is, the gap is aligned, and now the brake is in. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Remove this, remove the shifter, and then put the new lever in. This is another problem that we have to overcome. This is a throttle for the bike. It turns like this, and even though it looks very similar to the one over here, this is a shifter. So the shifter and the throttle cannot exist on the same side because it's going to be just too much work. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to find a way to accommodate the shifter and the throttle. Most likely I'm going to slide the shifter towards the inside and then use it manually from here, which is not the most convenient way to do it, but unfortunately this bike doesn't come with a push shifter. It comes with a turn shifter, so I'm limited as far as that goes. And this is the compromise that I had to make. I have my throttle over here, which will work, but I don't have my shifter in a good position. So it's either I change the throttle to a push button throttle, like a thumb throttle, or I use the shifter that comes with a bike, or get a different shifter, a push shifter. This is a compromise, a temporary compromise until I figure out what is more important to me. With all the controls in place, now it's just a matter of wire management. You have to run everything to the power box. To install the pedal assist sensor, you have to take the entire pedal system off. And why is that? Because there's a couple of things that you have to install. There's a magnet piece, and this piece basically travels over this part over here. So to install this sensor on this side, I'll have to take that bearing out. There's a little retainer over there on that side. So that's going to come off, and basically this is going to be installed on the other side, basically in here. And then it's going to go over the sensor itself. So it's going to be an interesting part of the installation. This is not nowhere in the manual, and taking this thing off was quite challenging. So I'm expecting to have quite a few problems over there. Also, I'm going to re-grease everything now that I'm here, so at least I'm going to have everything nicely tight. With this piece removed, we have to see if this is going to fit through. So this has to fit through, which it does. And that's great, because now we could put a sensor in here. So that is absolutely great. Here it is. I got it all tight, and then this is a sensor, and I'm going to run the wire up here out of the way. To install the sensor on is not too hard. Just place it over the shaft, and then with a socket wrench you could just hammer it in place. And there's a little bit of a gap that you have to leave over here so it doesn't scrape on it, but it's as simple as that. Once you're done, just put the gears back on. Fitting this thing together is not easy. Right now the gears, as you can see, they're scraping over here, so they're just too close. What I'll have to do is I'll have to install an extra spacer over here, because without a spacer this cassette is too close to the edge of the bicycle. So yeah, the fit is not perfect, and it will never be, because it was never really designed for this particular frame. It's kind of like a universal wheel. If you don't want to deal with too much headache, and it's not about the passion of building one, just having one, you might want look into buying a already built bicycle. I'm going to put a link at the bottom of the video for the Ancheers. They're about $500 on eBay and Amazon, so they're quite cheap. Or you could deal with all this headache and save a couple of hundreds. There it is. It just happened that I had a spacer or a washer that fits over there. Really, really nice. Hopefully this is going to bring it what I need it to be. So I'm going to reattach the rear wheel and see how good it's going to work out. Getting close, even though there is a hole over here for the bag, I had to cut a bigger hole in it because it was impossible to put all these wires through. And now we're going to hook them up to the electronics. Also, there's like 2 more wires that have to go through there, which is going to be from the battery, which I'm going to install somewhere over here. So almost all the connections and everything, they're on. Just waiting for the battery in the mail and go from there. The last piece of puzzle has arrived, and we have the battery just came in. That's pretty cool. Battery is going to be mounted on the bike. I moved the theater of operations here in the garage. This is going to be fitted over here. Hopefully it's going to fit. So this is the idea behind it, and I'm going to have enough room to still take it out. This little bend in the frame, it's one of those another examples that buying one of these bicycles already fully assembled might be not too bad of an idea. This one is going to be a little bit in the way. Another thing you're not going to receive hardware to mount it on. So not only that you'll have to have proper tools in the garage to maybe make some holes and attach to the frame, but also you're going to need some kind of a hardware to install it on. As I said before, I love putting this bike together, but if you are in the market for getting an electric bicycle, buying one that's already assembled, it's actually not a bad idea. You pay a little bit more, but you don't have to deal with all the stuff. Make sure you're comfortable drilling into your bike frame. I've done that. Here it is. 4 holes, mounting holes for that battery. There it is. 4 bolts mounted over here. I didn't have to pre-drill. I just pre-drilled the holes and just put some screws through it. No threading or anything necessary. So it has to fit here at the bottom first. And it's just at the limit of how much it wants to give me room. But there it is. So it will be removable, but it's just at the limit of how much room I have. Also, getting to the on and off switch over here at the bottom is going to be a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, the battery is mounted. And now we have a connecting cable that I'll have to plug in at the bottom and then reroute the cables into this little bag. And of course this connection is not compatible with what you get in the kit, so you'll have to cut these wires out and you have to connect the wires to a different kind of a outfitting over here. With the cables cut, now I will add a pair of crimper connectors and then crimp them in and then extend this cable to the box. And we got to the last part of the process. This is the negative and the positive for the controller, and this is the negative and the positive for my cable. I'm going to have them connect them together somewhere over here. I'm going to cut these off because I don't want to give myself an option to have like some kind of a failure into these connectors. I'm going to just butt connect them together. The reason is that I'm never going to disconnect it from here, but I will disconnect it from here if I have to, from the bottom of the battery. So because of that, I'm just going to butt connect them together and never have to worry about it again. And there it is, butt connected together. I'm going to put some tape on top of them so they don't have to be disconnected this way, and I'm done. Also, there's 3 connections that are left over. One is for the speed limiter. So this blue wire has a connector, so you could connect it to a speed limiter. And also this an extra one, black and red. I assume it's some kind of a power, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Most likely it's feeding maybe additional power to some LED light or something in the front of the bike. But for now, I don't need to work with it, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. And here it is, the first ride on it. Battery is full. I've noticed that this indicator over here, it's not in line with this indicator over here. Also, this is going to be moved here, and this is going to be replaced with a thumb changer because this is a throttle, right? So that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on. This is in the mail, so another reason buy a bicycle that's already made, all put together, because otherwise you'll have to deal with little things like these, including replacing that. Power on here. So it tells you empty, half full, even though this one clearly states full. And there are two modes on this bicycle. It's pedal assist, which is the sensor that we installed here at the pedals, or the throttle, right? So if I'm going to twist this throttle right now, this is gonna happen. Look at the throttle. Right, so the wheel's spinning because it's an electric bicycle. That's a fairly powerful motor, I have to admit. Maybe I should turn my GPS on and see what's gonna be our maximum speed today. Let's give it a try. Now, you could use it in pedal mode or throttle mode. I'm gonna use throttle mode right now. So as I said, inconveniently placed right now, but twist the throttle. And here's the bike. And I'm kind of curious to see what's going to be the maximum speed it's going to go to, but I'm not pedaling right now at all. I'm running just on throttle mode. And it's actually quite smooth, very quiet motor. I don't know if it's going to stay like this because my Ancheer bicycle didn't. But yeah, very nice and smooth. Also, the reason that you put these new levers over here on the side is because they have a switch in it, and as soon as you pull the levers, even if the throttle is pulled, it will stop automatically the power to the motor, so it won't push you anymore. And we're looking at maximum speed of 19.9, so almost 20 miles an hour. This is a quite fast motor. If I'm going to pedal though, so we're going to go on pedal assist. Let's see what we can make it work. So we're going to put in 7th gear over here, 3rd gear over here, so it's the maximum speed that we could help it at pedal assist. Let's see what's going to happen. Oh, you could definitely feel it pulling. It's definitely pulling. I think over 20 miles an hour, I'm doing all the work. So it's good up to 20. Okay, time to take it for a little cruise around the neighborhood. And I'll tell you, by owning another electric bicycle before, a couple of things that I complain about is this. He just wants to go full speed all the time. So he just wants to go at full speed all the time. He doesn't have 3 modes to choose from, like a low, medium and high. He's just pulling at maximum speed all the time. And this is a little bit frustrating because sometimes I don't want to go this fast. If I stop pedaling, it stops pulling. But sometimes I just want to maintain like a 7 or 8 miles an hour, where this one just wants to do 20 miles an hour all the time. This is because this is the cheapest kit of a wheel that you could buy. How can I modulate that? By using the throttle manually. So I could do that by I could fix that by using the throttle manually. So if I use the throttle manually, it overrides the pedal sensor automatically. As soon as you pull the throttle switch, it overrides the pedal sensor, and then whatever I'm pulling, that's the speed it's going to go at, which is quite good. But if I let it go, it just goes full throttle and it just wants to go 20 miles an hour, and that's quite fast. There's a trick though. You could dull it down. So how do you dull down the beast? That's very simple. You open up the electronics and you plug in the switch. Once you plug in the switch, the bicycle will be limited as far as the speed goes. I reset the computer. Let's see what's the maximum speed is going to go now. And you could already see it's running half the speed I was doing before. This is maximum throttle, and it cut the speed at least in half. I'll have to look at the speedometer to see what it does, but I actually have time to look at it while I'm riding, and it's literally in half, 10.8 miles an hour. And this also you could feel when you're pedaling, because right now when I'm pedaling, I could feel that over 10 miles an hour it just doesn't want to pull. So what I'm going to do is I'll have to run another set of wires to the handlebars and put a quick on and off mode over here. And here it is, my crazy switch. It's over here. Turbo mode on, turbo mode off. I ran the wires around here and then basically in the box. So let's give it a try and see how it does. Okay, so this is on. So here it is. Right now we are full throttle, 10 miles an hour. push the button and you can feel that it's just getting a lot faster. And it's fairly easy to access. You just push it from here. So yeah, I'm proud of my red button. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the trash bicycle that became electric. $0 in a frame, just a bunch of wires here and there, and seems to be working really, really well. I'm very, very happy with it. Let me know what you think at about another video.